Awesome. Good morning, everyone. It is 8:06, and I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum present with 2 members absent. Item 1, consider approval of Economic Development and Tourism Board, May 7th, 2025, and June 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. Have you all had a chance to review them? Are there any recommended amendments? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the May 7th meeting minutes? So moved. Second. All right, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. The next for June 4th, 2025, any motion to approve? Okay. Henry, is there a second? Second. Spencer. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, that carries as well. Item 3, citizen comment period with the Economic Development and Tourism Board. Are there any citizens in the audience? Seeing none online. Do we have any written questions?
Yep.
All right, and with that, I'll close citizen comment at 8:07. Item 4, staff reports and presentations. Receive a report and hold discussion on staff and board member updates on recent and upcoming city projects, programs, or events impacting economic development.
Thank you. I did not get to print the May sales tax report, but and I'm going to come up here a little closer because I can't read from back here. So it looks like for June, our sales tax report receipts were 1.5 million. And that is from projections, that's down 6.7%. If you look at the same time last year in June of 2024, we are up 4%, but the projections are still trending down. So, and that's something that we've seen throughout the entire state is the same type of decline in sales tax receipts. Compared to last year, though, year to date, we're still trending up 6% over last year, so that's still good. But what we look at more closely is the projections, and so we're definitely seeing a bit of a slowdown in the economy and the shopping local. So continue to support your local businesses. Have you noticed anything?
It's kind of strange. Like the behaviors change, but I think the numbers are still solid. So yeah, but traffic is just different, like different behavior. I don't know if it's because there's so many more options in town now.
Yeah.
But the numbers are still, there for us. So.
Okay, that's good.
Not too sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ice cream is very important during the summer.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yes,
you
it
still have a very unique product
Right.
that
Yeah,
is not
absolutely.
offered anywhere. So that's
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
okay. Now let me move on over to certificate of occupancy. Right. So these are a few that have opened recently since our last meeting. Jimmy John's, Sabor a mi Panaderia. I believe that is inside of is it inside the gas station across from a?
Not necessarily inside the gas station. There's a retail shell right next to it, and that's the space that they've taken.
Before you get to like the Windy Hill on the northbound side,
right before La Quinta.
Okay. And then there's a physical therapy, Primrose School, Loback. Oh, is that our friend?
Yeah.
Bob Loback. Okay. So that's another company here that, Lauren, can you tell us what he does? You went to
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Several
large scope, but basically they work with semiconductors and they repair parts, critical parts to their processes at semiconductors. They're very specialized because they are one of very few companies that do that. So these semiconductors, Samsung, what are some of the other big ones? Yes, they send their whatever it is that's not working. If it's a large machine and there's only one small piece that's not working, they send it to Crestech, and they make that repair and they send it back. They have started. I can't remember the piece that they manufacture, but they have created, engineered a specialized piece for for, I think it's, I don't remember which company it is, but one of the manufacturers, or one of the semiconductors. And they patented the piece and they manufacture that in Kyle.
They use really, really dangerous chemicals processing semiconductors. Or they do in any of their heavy duty toxic chemical manufacturing here, or are they just doing like simple fast?
Yeah,
soldering
no,
and
no, no heavy.
stuff?
duty.
Motherboards.
Yes. yes.
Wait, they're not making, they're not a fab. They're making the tools that make semiconductors.
They're not making tools. They're just repairing parts within these semiconductors. They're making things and they're repairing parts. It's very interesting.
Okay.
It's a very cool. What they do is very, very neat.
I think I told Lauren I'd like her to done with Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if there's any possibility to partner with someone.
Mhm.
Very unique.
Okay, Hangry Joe's hot chicken place. My son and my husband have already tried it several times. They love it. There's a bread basket on Button Creek. So there's the shell, and then the 2 down is the actual building, the opening of the building. Hayes High School has a remodel. Kyle Nails, I believe they're along 35. You know where it looks like they're located next to the Sabor a mi Panaderia restaurant. And then there is a amenity center. That must be something for a neighborhood, right? Okay, and then BSP Vision, maybe a vision care. I have not that. So, that's more than we've had in a while. A couple of new ones that are just coming soon. The Lupe Tortilla will open soon. We're reviewing plans for Buffalo Wild Wings. So that's kind of something different. It's something different we don't have here. It'll be over by y'all in that
Yeah.
general area. What else, Lauren? A Little Shady.
A little,
Shady.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little shady.
A
yes.
Little Shady. So that'll be a restaurant that is behind the Chipotle
Snooze.
and Snooze.
That area.
And if any of you remember Shady Grove from Austin,
Mhm.
it's from the same group that created Shady Grove, and so they're doing a different concept here in Kyle called A Little Shady. Yeah,
They shut that one down though, right?
they
Yes.
did. Yeah, the one in Austin. Mhm. Oh yes, yeah,
All of them.
Yeah,
they
I
did.
didn't realize Kyle was the last one.
That's right, because they closed their Arizona ones, and then
Scottsdale.
this was their last one. So it actually was very surprising to us. We didn't really know anything about it. Unfortunate, but there's an opportunity there in that building to hopefully fill it with a different restaurant. Their incentive, they only get paid out for performing, and it's a performance-based incentive. So they're only going to get the rebates that they got when they were open, sales tax, and then they're owed their property tax from 2024, and then the incentive expires. So it doesn't transfer over to a new tenant, which I think the ABJ was asking us. Okay, let's see. Oh, request for proposals, update on the request for proposals. So the second round proposals were received at the end of April, and then we went back and asked some other information from them. So this is for the restaurant site that is on the corner of Heroes Memorial Park. And so we'll have a closed session discussion with council on in 2 weeks to decide how they want to proceed with the final. So more to come on that. The Lake Park District Hotel and Convention Center space, those proposals from the 5 finalists developers were due Monday, and happy to report we received all 5 of them, and so now it's in the hands of the reviewers to pick the top choice or top 1 and 2 and see how council would like to proceed with that. So that's very exciting. The developer, Rick Sheldon, the master developer of the entire area, is just waiting on this project to see how it plays out in order for him to start moving on his mixed use piece of his development. So that'll be exciting opportunity there because he's very anxious to get started and hopefully more to come on that. And then last but not least, another city-owned property. It's the brick and mortar district Class A office. So I think I don't know if we talked about this last time, but it's a 1.73 acre parcel that's just it's in between La Verde Park and a new parking lot that the city built, just across from the brick and mortar apartments. So we've got a lot of good opportunity there. We have a couple of solid tenants that are already interested in releasing that conversation with. But we definitely want it to be Class A in nature. We'd like to see some ground floor retail and then the rest of the office. So it could be a 3 or 3 office building there, and that will be the first one in Kyle. And it'll just can pick up that momentum and continue to build out the rest of the district.
And I know we talked last month about changes to the development code, and I'm sure there's some implications of things that we could change in the code that would incentivize or disincentivize whatever the scoring or the awardee eventually come out with. And so I just bring that up for discussion of when those pieces start to become solidified, making sure we're putting the feedback in both ways between the developer and the code updates.
Friesen Nichols presented to council last night too. So, and there's still additional stakeholders that they would like to have. So, I think Mike, you weren't here last, but you know Chance Sparks, right? Friesen Nichols. So he's doing helping the city with the code rewrite, and they have a couple of opportunities for stakeholder input feedback that I'd love for either you or
Happy, whatever you need.
yeah to participate. And then Eddie wasn't here last month either, so I'd love for him to. Julian, you also maybe if you have time, I can send you the date.
Yeah.
You can do virtual participation as well, but
Okay.
for you that has developed in Kyle and to express what was good about the code or what was challenging about
Yeah.
the code, I think because this is our opportunity to, I think, make it easier and more streamlined for this.
Okay, yeah.
The next one is recruitment activities. So we attended, there was 3 staff members that attended the ICSC conference. So that is a retail recruitment conference in Las Vegas in May, but also not just strictly retail. We met with several other large developers that are interested in mixed use development. So we had some good conversations. I even met with a company that does parking solutions. So as we build out a lot of these mixed use districts, I think parking is going to be it's a big conversation now, and just making sure we get ahead of it and do it right. I think in the brick and mortar district will have a garage at some point. But in downtown Kyle, we also need parking solutions. So anyhow, so it wasn't just about retail recruitment. I was happy to connect with that company that does parking analysis and other parking solutions. So just to have that communication with them to get ahead and make sure that we do have enough parking, strategically place it in areas that you could share it within the district so that we don't just have a sea of parking throughout these mixed use districts. Let's see here. Oh, just last week I was in Santa Fe for the Site Selectors Guild Partner Summit, Summer Summit. So this is I like this event because it was very small. They limited it to only 50 participants, and all the participants were economic development, either with a city, a county, a state, or even utility partners. And there was 6 site selectors, so we got a lot of one-on-one time with them to share with them what we're doing here locally. What I loved, Mike, is that, and because we talked about it, almost all of them knew where Kyle was. They were like, "Oh, Kyle, yeah." Very rarely do I have to say south of Austin anymore. They are like, "Oh yeah, we know Kyle." So that's very encouraging to hear that we don't have to necessarily attach ourselves to Kyle anymore. Definitely, Hayes County carries a lot of weight. Just saying Hayes County as well. They recognize where that is.
It's good because so just to give you the one in March is the big one, and there's 400 people that go to that one,
Oh.
and the guild is really about 55 to 60. So this one's a little smaller to your point, and you get much more one-on-one with them. So yeah, it is better. And one of them we talked to at that point was like, I don't like your new name, our name, Hayes Caldwell, because I don't know what that means. And then I convinced him. He's like, to your point, oh no, we know where Hayes is. I like that they said that. We're getting there. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, that makes me so happy. I mean, just being in the county in the region for so many years and always having to say, just south of Austin. No more.
We are on the map.
We are.
Exactly.
Okay, and last one will be in a couple of weeks. This one's in Arlington. This is my first time attending the Convention Sports and Entertainment Facilities Conference. So this one I found very interesting, and I want to learn a little bit more about it because it seems like, you know, we're talking convention center, we're doing sports entertainment facilities in our sports complex in Plum Creek. And they have different sessions on public-private partnerships and how to really activate these areas with entertainment districts. So I look forward to attending this. I don't know if there's a lot of one-on-one time. I think maybe. Have you been to these, Mike, at all? No. I'll let you know how beneficial it was. But I think there will be vendors and time for me to walk around and but a lot of the sessions that they're offering are just really they kind of resonate with a lot of work that we're doing now. And then the first day, we get to take a tour of the Star at Frisco, which was a public-private partnership between lots of entities, even the school district, right, and the Cowboys and the city and the county. So that'll be good for us to learn how they put that together and see if there's possibilities in our region going forward. I'll let you know how that one turns out. Oh, leadership conference. We've been talking about this for a while. We had just a little teaser at the Chamber's luncheon in May with having a guest speaker that the city sponsored. And it was very well received. You were there, right? And you enjoyed it. I'm like, and
Yeah.
well, did you? Like,
You did.
yeah. Right? You did. Just kidding. I felt like everybody really enjoyed the message, and so we just want to continue the momentum, but actually make this a city event for a while. So Lauren and I think we've found our guest speaker, and we might add another one. We're going to start with a half-day event in October, so a morning event. I'll let you all know. We're looking at October 15th, but we need to solidify our guest speaker and also the location. We're looking at maybe in the Plum Creek Mockingbird Room or, Leslie was talking about the library yesterday, their community room. But so we'll see. So I'll let you know as that evolves, and we think, I think we're well on the way to having a theme for this conference. I don't know that we want to call it leadership conference. Like, I think we want to play around with the name of it, but we'll see how that evolves. I think our speaker will be great, and she offered to help even maybe messaging and the promotion. She's very well known in Texas, so I think she'll even help promote this event and get some of her followers here. I'll let you know. October 15th is the date we're looking. Okay, and a couple of celebratory events coming up. A groundbreaking for the two of our roads that are part of the road bond package, the 2022 road bond package. So July 17th, that's a couple of weeks from now at 9:30 a.m. I'll send the invite out to the board if you'd like to come and just celebrate with us. So it'll be the groundbreaking for BB West and Kohlers. I guess I should have provided a map, but if you just imagine everybody, does everyone remember where the New Quest project is going? the old Caraway property, just across 35 from here. It's a 100-acre tract between Amberwood and BB.
A nice, like, triangle.
It's a triangular piece, yeah. And so Kohlers to Seton will be a brand new road. So it's going to be the continuation of Kohlers here across. Across 35 is not happening until, well, you know, a few years from now, the bridge or the overpass or underpass. But the continuation of Kohlers will happen all the way to Seton Parkway. And then BB West will be reconstructed. So this was great news because the New Quest developers were waiting for this to happen so that they could start their construction of their 500,000 square foot retail center. So that's good news for us. Lots of more stores, shopping, dining, entertainment, and sales tax generation for us. I'll send the invite out July 17th at 9:30, and I will have the location on there. Do you know the location? Are they pulling people into the Caraway?
I'm not really sure. It's a good
Okay.
question.
Yeah, so we'll let you know. And then the actual ribbon cutting and opening of Marketplace Avenue. So that is the portion that is behind HEB all the way to the Public Safety Center. So that one will open July 31st. That is an evening celebration, I believe, to accommodate for, we want all of our council here for them so that they could get off their jobs and head straight here. So if any of you are around town at 6:30 in the evening, we invite you to come celebrate with us. And then that retail development by New Quest that I was just mentioning, it will be known as the Kyle Park District. We were talking about a July groundbreaking, except for Lauren has spoken to them and
They're gonna look closer to November, December for that. They want to be able to announce tenants.
Yeah.
And they want to make sure they can get them locked in and they really want to make an exciting announcement about that. So they want to wait just a bit longer. However, they will push forward, I think, as you mentioned, with their public infrastructure piece of it. So there will be groundbreaking technically, but not yet an
Not
event. quite yet.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's good because right now they have just a few tenants they can announce, like the kebab shop, One Taco, ESO Fitness, Raising Cane, a couple of nail salons. But the much larger big box retailers, they haven't finalized those leases yet, so they're not ready to announce them. But they will be large enough and exciting enough that I think it's good to wait. So I'll let you know when we schedule that.
500,000.
Yes.
We know about what Kyle has in terms of.
No, I
And
mean,
do
it's.
we do any sort of like ratio of per capita basis? My question is, how do we know when we're retail saturated?
Good question to ask. Maybe the retail coach could help us with that. Years ago, I used to keep track of medical square footage and retail square
Yeah.
footage, commercial. But I mean, since we've grown so quickly, it's been a little bit harder. But that's a very good.
Just to know that it's a media address for master planners. Smart about that, and I'm all for 500,000 square. I just wonder, how do we know when we have enough? And then when do we need to pivot towards industrial class A office space? Different types of square footage, so
Yeah.
that we truly are economy is more broad
Right.
than just people spending.
Yeah, and so this is the other districts that we're looking at are definitely mixed. Sure, they have lots of office,
Yeah.
residential, and some, but I think that those are less focused on retail. They might have ground floor retail, but this one will be a true retail power center, just similar to what you see at Southwest Meadows or Creekside. So this one is very, very heavy on residential.
Cassie's said she was
Oh.
step off.
Okay, thanks, Cassidy. But yeah, I'm gonna make note of that.
I just don't know.
Oh, thank you.
I just don't know how to think about it. Is Kyle getting too much retail? I don't want to be able to Actually, we have room to grow in these sectors,
Mhm.
and we have the real estate.
Yeah,
Probably not with the growth still coming and the build out that Kyle still has to go. Probably not. Probably still got ways to go. But is it the right retail is another question.
Right. And then break it down into segments, right? So
What do you go for next?
Yeah,
is
does
the
dining
question.
count as retail? In this, you say retail space,
Yeah,
include
yes.
dining?
Mhm. There'll be lots of dining. Um,
Raising
and they
Cane's. You gotta be excited about Raising
Oh, yes. I know
Yeah,
I
and
am.
there's a lot more
We made
exciting
it when we
ones.
got a
Yeah.
Raising
Cane's.
Cane's.
I love Raising Cane's. Cane sauce is dangerous.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And a related question there too is, are we generating enough revenue per square footage to pay for the growth long term and the maintenance and everything else of roads and water and sewer? And that may not be a question necessarily for this board, but I know a lot of those data sets get fed into like the master plan city has, where we map out the price of revenue per location. We have that kind of red and green map that exists on the master plan, making sure that we have enough developed in the right way long term. That way, 10 years from now, when everything is built out, are we getting enough revenue from that business to sustain and keep it going versus here?
Yeah, and I think the way to do that is, and from my understanding is, if you build out very very dense, then you have, and that's why we looked at the Kyle Park district to be a very dense district, and also even the brick and mortar district. So the more you can put into one space, the more valuable that space is, and the more it generates for the city, and less resources are spread out versus larger, like what a target. Yeah, less sense. Just like the Home Depot. I bet if you just look at the Home Depot that was out there for years, taking up lots of space, and what that was generating versus what we're going to have in a very small portion of town will probably generate more for us than what the Home Depot did for many years.
But also industrial does, to your point, that is how you also gain more tax revenue with less utilization of resources. It's just bottom line. Industrial is how you do that.
But that's a good question, and something that we could look at future. I think maybe the retail coach would be I could
Yeah.
tap into and have them look at that for us.
Make Aaron work.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, board member vacancies. So currently we have one seat open. This is the seat 5 that Jenna resigned from a while back. So we do have applications submitted, and our city secretary's office is reviewing them and setting up interviews with qualified applicants. And then we have one ex officio seat open, and that seat is reserved for the Kyle Chamber, and their new CEO starts on July the 28th. So we have a meeting very shortly thereafter, I believe the week after she starts. So I will invite her. I don't know if she'll be able to make it. She'll probably still be, getting going in her current role. So if not, we don't get to meet her in August, and then hopefully by September she can join us.
Wimberley.
Rebecca Hancock. Rebecca Hancock. So
Becca.
I briefly met her at the Governor's Small Business event, and so I looked really. And the last one is any board member updates. Does anyone have anything they would like to share with us?
We had an event on what, July 16th? Hold on.
The innovation.
Innovation Summit at the Embassy Suites in San Marcos at 11. We'll talk about what innovative things are happening in the region. So mainly focused on Texas State, obviously what they're pushing out to the region. So that would be then 16, 2 weeks from today. Yeah. So tickets are on sale for that. So we're working to get that done. So that's what I have right now.
We do have a table at the event. I think a lot of our the leadership are interested in going, but if any of you would like to go and you'd like to be our grab a few more tickets.
Give us a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that date again?
16th.
Okay.
11. It's a lunch, so at 11. I think the event will start about 11:30.
Middays.
Yeah, or rough. Yeah.
Okay, let us know.
I'm interested, just as a sports guy, I'm interested for what the new,
Pac-12 will do.
what that means in terms of travel to and from San Marcos. I don't know how to think about it.
We are too.
Can you explain?
Yeah. So I was. So don't know. I was texting. Yeah. I was texting with President Dampus on Sunday about it, and so I haven't talked to him much yet because it was just finalized Monday. But I'll have lunch with him on the 15th of this month, so I hope maybe I'll learn a little bit more about what that'll mean. What we anticipate, I don't think you were quite here yet. Yesterday at council in San Marcos, the university is helping put together a 4-star hotel on campus there, similar to what AT&T Center at UT Austin is, or the George at A&M is, so that they can kind of, I think, capitalize whether or not they knew that Pac-12 is, well, you guys, we're going to get one here too, right?
Which will benefit from a lot.
Exactly, right. So whether or not they knew the Pac-12 was coming when we started this a freaking year ago or not, I don't know. But does that help with that, right? Because now Fresno State, Oregon State, freaking Pullman, Washington is way farther away than like Arkansas State is, right? Not to mention these institutions are just better than the Sun Belt is. So I don't know for certain, but logic would state that yes, there should be more people coming to the region as a whole. There should be more academic conferences that would come here. So if there's because what will be at that hotel are rooms, yes, but conference spaces won't be that big. It's not designed for that. So if what is built here has bigger conference spaces, more akin to what the Embassy Suites is in San Marcos, but is nicer and newer, then absolutely this could benefit from that in big ways, right? Because that's not what that's designed. That is a pure hotel almost exclusively. There's smaller rooms, but it's not a conference space at all. But we do anticipate more excitement, more higher tier people coming to the region because of this Pac-12 move. Just because it is a more exciting product than what's been on. I think last year may have been the first time maybe that Texas State was on national television during the season when they played Arizona State. I think that was it. And it wasn't because of Texas State. It was because of Arizona State. So now it will be different when they are playing Oregon State and Washington State and Boise. I mean, if Boise comes here, that's a big deal. Gonzaga is in there. When they come for basketball, that place will be packed because they're playing Gonzaga. So it is a really big deal. So it's just going to elevate the university. It'll elevate this whole region. It's not the SEC, yes, but Pac-12 is still much, much higher tier than the Sun Belt. So we're excited for what it will do, not just for San Marcos. Yes, it'll elevate San Marcos for sure. But for the region, it puts this whole area a bigger national spotlight on all of this, which is fantastic. We couldn't be happier that they made the move.
No, that's great.
It's wonderful. But we don't know yet. When I talk to Kelly later this month, I want to learn. That's like number one on my list to ask him about is what does this mean for like what do you expect?
How does someone decide to do that? Like, do you ask to be invited, or do you have to perform at a certain level to qualify? Or do you think that was a goal of Kelly's from? when
It
he
it
started?
has been like he has cared a lot about athletics. I mean, that's why his predecessor, she always said she liked football. I think she did like football, but she never made the right hires for athletic director. Never did a lot. That's why they always they weren't good. When he came in, he made a big difference. He like it or not, athletics make a difference in student enrollment, and that's a big deal. And he understands that. And he made big moves. GJ is killing it at Texas State. I mean, they've gone to 2 bowl games, won both of them for the first time ever. So he gets it, and I think he's made a big priority. Just so happens the Pac-12 died, and now it's coming back to life. So they're looking for growth. We are looking for growth. It kind of worked, right?
Yeah.
Big sports, but then
But you also have a Texas tie to this too, right? They're the sole Texans tie to the Pac-12 now, right? Colorado was as close as they got because Colorado State's in the Pac-12, but even though there's only 9 teams in the Pac-12, but whatever, that doesn't matter anymore either. So it's whatever. So I think Texas mattered to them having a Texas team in there for that market, but all the teams have state in it. It should just be the state conference, except Gonzaga. They're the only ones that don't have a state. I find that funny. Yeah, Washington State, Oregon State, Fresno State, Boise State, Colorado State, Texas State, San Diego State.
Oh, wow.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're all
Many of-
Utah State.
And then yeah, Utah State and
What
Gonzaga,
state is
California.
California?
They're Northern California somewhere.
Yeah,
But it's funny. Kelly was like, we should the whole conference should be brought to you by Allstate. It's like, yes. Anyway, so it's exciting because it should be on TV more, which will help all of us. But really, the faster we can get this conference center here, it could be a really big deal to have new, nice conference center space. Is a big deal.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
excited to read.
Yeah.
I have.
the fact that you have 5 of them is wonderful.
I'm sorry. Oh, 5.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just it'll help the whole region because they're not going up to Austin for something like that, right? They're going to stay as close to the university as they can be.
10 minutes.
the West Coast. They're longer. more
It-
days,
Exactly.
and they need things to do.
Yep.
They came in long weekend or whatever, so come watch the alma mater. Like, oh, great, can we partner that with a concert, or can we do that so that they come to Kyle and spend their money here
Right.
and then go to the game, because we have options. No offense to San Marcos, but we feel like we'd rather you spend your money in Kyle versus San Marcos if you're gonna go to that dinner or concert venue or something, because you came into town.
Well, certainly there's a lot of options, right? And so, I mean, that's the beauty of the whole region. And if you're coming in from the West Coast, you're gonna make it a trip. Whereas if you're just coming in from Arkansas State, you're probably just in and out. And that is the difference. But if you're coming in from, again, Pullman, Washington, you're here for you're going to make it a trip. And so that's what we're hoping they're going to bank on is longer stays, more spend, and that helps everybody out. And so that is from an economic development standpoint a bigger deal. Yeah. Yep. Stay here because you're between it,
And drive down
and drive up to Austin, stay in Kyle.
to
Well, and the hotel rooms will be half the cost. So yeah, I mean it's Yeah, exactly.
So we like to catch our part of that.
It'd be great to find a benchmark it now and then see next, because it'll happen the 26 season. So next season is when they'll join and see where it goes in terms of
Yeah,
your hot funds, where they go.
Yeah.
And things like that because of it.
I'm curious if we're to benchmark it, what factors are we to?
Well, I mean, the retail coach that Victoria mentioned, we can tell exactly where people are from. So do you have more out of state spend after this? I mean, we can tell you that they came from California, they came from Oregon. We can tell you exactly where they came from. So you can actually go find that. So it'd be fun
so
to.
the data, the cell phone data can track where they came from,
Yeah.
how long they stayed in Kyle, and it will show you, do they travel to San Marcos for the game, and then they come back, or do
Correct.
they stay in that general area?
So we can actually tell you on that game weekend when Texas State played Oregon State, how many of them came to Kyle to shop, eat, how many to stay here. You can find all of them out and find exactly out what was the economic impact of that Oregon State game on Kyle, and then what can we do to try and maximize that moving forward. Yeah, when it happens, we can do that. It'd be really interesting thing to do. Sorry, didn't mean to derail that, but it's a great question. I mean, because it's a huge question out there right now that is really exciting, but we have no idea what that's gonna do. Yeah.
Have to be smart about it. Because otherwise, if you're a Washington State alumni in Seattle, you see Texas State on the schedule, San Marcos. Oh, it's right by Austin. Oh,
Exactly.
okay, well then I'm just gonna go to Austin for the long weekend. And I'm just gonna drive down to San Marcos for the game, and then I'm gonna spend all my time in Austin. It's like, well, let's see if we can cull some of that spend out for a person who was otherwise gonna drive straight through Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or can you use some tourism dollars to do some advertising in Pullman or in Seattle to try and get them to stay here? Like, what can you do as a city? Yeah, all that stuff needs to be. Yeah.
Because these have big national. Live in Dallas and you're in Oregon State. How many times is your team going to play a couple of 100 miles down the road?
So on that same note, I'm on the alumni board of San Diego State University, and whenever there's a big event outside for football or whatever, the alumni association will often have room blocks.
Yep.
And so if we can
That's
get
what we want to
ahead
get.
of
Yeah.
that.
I don't stay in a nice hotel and maybe have whatever they do. The weekend, they're tailgating, their whatever dinners and stuff. We want to be ready to capture as much of that as possible because the pool will be Austin, not the San Antonio.
Correct.
Oh,
Absolutely. There's no pull to San Antonio.
Riverwalk is nice.
Not for San Marcos. There's no pull to San Antonio. San Marcos. Yeah, agreed. So there's a lot to do. I'm gonna try and find out. Like, I think I'm having lunch in Kelly in 2 weeks. So
More than just lunchtime.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's got tons of ideas, but I don't know how much he knows yet either. What it will mean quite yet. But we'll share everything we know because we want everybody to benefit from this, and everybody should. But Kyle, proximity wise, has the most to gain outside of San Marcos, obviously. But you guys have more options for dining and things like that, so it should be pretty obvious and easy.
So in the interest of time.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. It's a good conversation. We'll make sure we keep. Still on the board member updates.
Yep, I
Are there
think
any-
that's the last one, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we talked about the Hayes County Regional Meetup. Kyle is hosting that.
Oh yeah, what day was that?
Next Tuesday, the 8th.
Yeah.
At the Texas Pie Company at 8:30. So if you're in Tuesday. Lauren and I could send the calendar invite too, but it's a group of realtors, brokers, just different people that are interested in Hayes County. They usually meet up once a month in Buda. You know Tim Dowling?
Mhm.
It's his meetup group, and he wanted to know a little bit more about what's going on in Kyle. So then I invited their group to come here. So I'll let you all know if you're in town and want to stop by and just meet other people. I'd love to introduce you as board members. So that would be great. I'll send it. Okay, and then that's it for the board member. I can quickly go through
So
the
the
other.
next item, we have received a report, hold a discussion, provide feedback to staff regarding a recommendation to the council on the amendments to the existing downtown revitalization grant program policy.
They're different. Slide. Okay, so let's put two. I think we've already looked at this before, and this is just bringing it back to the board for one last blessing before I take it to city council in a couple of weeks. The summary is that council funded a downtown revitalization grant. It's a facade grant. And to date, we, as the board, only have reviewed one application, and then that applicant's project is delayed, so hasn't moved forward with the request. We did hear, Lauren did a walk of downtown and heard from business owners as to why they haven't applied. And a lot of them said that they didn't know the program existed. The program was too limited in scope. It was only the facade, exterior facade improvement. So, and the previous one didn't cover signage, landscaping, or parking improvements, which they wished would have been included. So we've included those in there. And then the reimbursement only model was a barrier. So we've written some language in there to allow for consideration of if you get a maximum grant amount of 25,000, and as you make those improvements, then you can draw down on it, ask for a quick inspection, make sure the improvements were done, and then we can reimburse some of that money rather than wait until the project's done. And that might help business owners or property owners faster on the renovations. So another major change is that the current policy has a 50-50 matching grant. So it's a $50,000 project, you qualify for 25,000. That's the maximum. If it's a $10,000 project, you qualify for half, so 5,000. I changed it to 75% matching grant with the business owner required to put in 25%. So I think that's a little more generous. Hopefully we'll get some interest.
Or that matches the 25% the city share, or is that maximum 10% is applied to the 25%?
The city share would be the 75%. The business owner would.
As in, so 25,000 is the max.
Yes.
The
So
business
100.
owner gets back 18,750, or are they getting?
No, let's just say it's $100,000
Project.
project. Well, I don't know. And they would get 75, they qualify for 75,000, but the max is 25, so they don't.
So the max is the maximum of city dollars that would go towards a project.
Yes.
Whatever they're applying for, they get 75% up to 25,000.
Yes.
Okay.
So approximately $34,000 project.
What is the?
Would match.
$25,000.
Oh, I
amount.
see.
I'll make sure that language is clear. I'll have our attorney look at it to make sure that it's clear and there's no misinterpretation of it. I think we had an instance where somebody misunderstood our First Year on Us grant, unfortunately, and they didn't apply for it up front, and so they said the language was a little vague, but our attorney said it's clear on there. So I just want to make sure that's another policy that we have. I'll be sure the language is clear. Maybe even give a little example, like you said. If your project is 34, Now then you would meet the maximum amount. Yeah.
I can't divide 25 by 3 right now in my head. But
Yeah.
on the landscaping, that's going to be water restricted friendly,
Oh, drought,
drought friendly,
Yes,
and not,
which is a
we're
requirement.
not going to pay for people to put in sod.
Uh,
'Cause that is a huge
right.
water.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make sure that it meets the drought friendly requirements that the planning department has. I'll make a note of that too.
Did you stuff over by Texas Roadhouse? And
Oh,
they did, yeah, that area, which is all rock and native plants. I like that.
Me too.
And then Frostbank went and put that really nice Bermuda grass. I'm like, oh, just keep pouring water on that.
okay, and let's see. Oh, the other thing is, yeah, we talked about making landscaping, parking, signage, and interior code upgrades or renovations also eligible. So anything that any permanent improvements they put into the interior of the building, would ask council to consider as well as part of it as part of a qualifying grant. So hopefully, hopefully we get some more people interested. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, and promotion ideas is, will work. Is a lot of the businesses downtown said they didn't even know we had the grant, so we'd love to work with the communications department to get the word out. Maybe since Lauren loves walking. She may
I like to
want
talk
to do
to
a
'em.
door-to-door promotion. And I think even hosting an informal session, such as maybe at the Pie Company, invite people to breakfast or at the Daily Grind and have people coffee with us and talk to them about the grant, just to get the word out. There was even a mention of maybe, let's just say, I don't know, the Pie Company applied and they were awarded the grant, actually having a sign on the outside while the construction and renovations are going on and just say, remodel in partnership with the city of Kyle's revitalization program or something. So people drive by and then they learn a little bit more about the program. So we'll just have to, that might be another idea. And so I believe this does require, if everyone is in agreement, this does require a recommendation to me to recommend to city council, so the council will know their support from the board. If you so choose.
We still have quorum.
We still have quorum still, yes. Watching that too. Motion to approve the current version of the Downtown Revitalization Grant Program to be recommended to City Council for approval.
Second.
There's been motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, that carries. That brings us down to the last item on the agenda is adjournment. Their motion to adjourn from Henry, second. We are adjourned at 9 a.m.
Wow.
Right on time.
Us.
Let Eddie know
Not let him
that,
down.
yeah, we got in and out.
Pretty good.
Even off topic, we got